Okay, next up is Life as We Know It, and this is yet another film from Katherine Heigel, where, she's not quite teetering into Kate Hudson territory of mediocrity, but she's on a very, very loose thread. We're talking almost invisible, like the same kind of string that you accused John Travolta of using in that one scene in Phenomenon. You probably don't get what I'm saying, so I'm just going to continue. Anyway, she was very good opposite Seth Rogen in Knocked Up, but she was outshined royally by Gerard Butler in The Ugly Truth. And here she's found the right counterpart, however, in Josh Duhamel, who's fresh off the Dretch rom-com When in Rome. Here they are both quite good, actually, but the material, again, leaves a lot to be desired. Basically what we get here is a nearly 2-hour extended episode of a sitcom. I mean, do you people ever wonder why there's never, like, whenever there's a TV adaptation put into film, or sorry, the film adaptation of a TV show, I should say, put into a movie, and very rarely it's a sitcom? There's a reason for that, because they know it won't work. Now, again, this is that type of movie. It's basically anything that could have been solved in 22 minutes in a sitcom. No, we just have to roll through it and whatnot. But no, Josh Duhamel here plays Messer, a handsome womanizer type guy, and the best friend of Peter, played by Hayes MacArthur, who is happily married to Allison, Christina Hendricks. Heigel is, of course, her best friend. She is really uptight and, just stuck-up type character that she's always used to playing. And her name, sorry, is Holly. Now, Messer and Holly are what pass for an odd couple in Hollywood's superficial rom-com, yada 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 yada. They're attractive, but at the same time, these actual characters are quite intelligent in what they do in life. But with, again, it's just the character traits and, the whole cliched, dating habits and whatnot, yada yada yada. It's sad for characters that were actually drawn better than most romantic comedies that they fell into this material. The filmmakers at least sidestepped the whole date from hell scene because really it hasn't been done to death. It's been done to zombie. They come back to life and they had to beat it to death again. That's how many times it's been done. Now, there's enough, I guess you say, musical montage really, just an overly, I guess you could say, similar cinematic, or I guess you say familiar cinematic aspects here, where really it's just, they have the settings of, the similar settings of the restaurant or the airport and whatnot, and it really just kind of makes me roll my eyes. But the broad comedy is undercut, of course, by explosions of melodrama here. The first such, of course, Peter and Allison are killed in the car crash, and neither character are drawn fully enough to either make us understand why we should feel bad or why we should feel their mourning. And that's what a movie like this should be trying to accomplish. So of course, they learn that, of course, Messer and Holly learn that they are now the legal guardians of the baby. Now, though they despise each other, Messer and Holly take up residence in their friend's home and they become co-parents. Then we get the Look Who's Talking, quite quirky baby humor that we get in many movies. Look Who's Talking was okay for 1990. It's not okay now. The movie is terribly dated and just not great upon second viewing. And I can see why John Travolta, that wasn't considered John Travolta's comeback despite being a box office hit. We get the vomit, the diapers, the whole works. Really, it's funnier in real life when I see my, my friends having to do it. But even though there's some relatable stuff here, and they try to, I think they wanted to do something. It's like they drew the blueprint of what they wanted, and that was great. But when they filled in that blueprint, they just came up with this. It's just nothing much. There's nothing terribly original here. Now, I gotta say, Duhamel has a really natural charm here, and he's got good comic timing, much better than he had in When in Rome earlier this year. It's almost like the same abilities he put together in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton some years back. Now, he has, I gotta say, he's got I guess I could say, a subtle, self-deprecating kind of humor that works particularly well because, among the neighbor characters, which of course are just drawn from cliches as well, fall, all over him, thinking he's, this and that. This movie is really just blotchy everywhere you look, and they do try to, make us, relate to situations and whatnot, but they really just cannot do it in this film. Again, it's above most movies of this genre, but really that's just like saying the old cliche I say, oh, at least the cheese was good in the burrito at this terrible Mexican restaurant kind of thing, you know what I mean? Again, that's just like saying that, but still the whole burrito sucked and the whole, the restaurant's still the same. I'll give this movie, you know, 2 stars out of 5. It's not as bad as many of the movies of this genre is, but it's this whole genre, again, is a flat line in desperate need of a defibrillator. So I give this film, like I said, 2 stars out of 5.